results. I am making it my business today to make some time to watch it. I cannot speak like in regards with regards to the performances and whatever. I can't say anything yet about that.
You haven't seen it.
If I haven't seen it, I cannot say it.
Yeah.
The results, however,
baffling. Baffling to
that's
say
what I
the
have.
least.
I have a couple of things to say, but yes, you give me your you watched it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
Like you don't talk. There was so much going on. So much going on. It was just so I didn't touch it. And so flip this. But what I can talk about is the final results. And God, I'll say something that will annoy a lot of people, but it's idiotic. I mean, a lot of people have the courage to say, but I'll say it. But it's idiotic. Where in the world have you heard you coming up with 2 queens? It's idiotic, but the tiebreaker was invented about 10,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, I think. 10,000 years ago, you understand that in certain competitions there will be a tie, and then you design. In fact, if you have a well-designed system, you have to prepare for all of these things. It's a possibility of this, with that happening, what do you do with that happening? Okay, judging equal, I understand that, but with that, then you go to your tiebreaker. So you would have designed the system that would finally decide among the 2 girls who judged equal who gets crowned. Now, crowning, sometimes when you think you solve a problem, we have to think downstream. You've created a massive problem because the queens always get to, are you going to give 2 girls scholarships or are you going to give both of them half scholarships? You say that it's
What about the prize
to
money?
give you an additional scholarship.
What about the prize money?
The prize money was,
Split it down the
you
middle?
probably could split down the middle. Then one of the girls can challenge and say, I won, I was promised X amount. Yeah, so you have to grasp the nipple sometimes. And that's where in all things, and I've said in conversations with the Prime Minister, but then you can say that I've said, one of the examples of good governance demonstrated by this current administration was dealing with the Caribbean, essentially to the CCG. Okay. You had already said you wanted to go down that way. You spoke to the people about it. You said it, you listened to their opinions, you listened to views, counter views, and then you decide that's where we're going, make necessary whatever adjustments, by maybe pushing the date back a few days to allow for greater discussion, and we're going there because we think it's in your best interest, it's in our best interest as a nation. So in other words, you must be decisive, you must be prepared to grasp the nettle. So you have a tie, you show the maturity and the confidence, and you're supposed to have systems in place to decide how you are going to rectify not only ties but all sorts of irregularities that may appear, but that's how you prepare for proper systems. That's how things are done. So now you have 2 queens. You have 2 queens, and so there's a competition as you always have. And for somebody now to go and represent St. Lucia,
First thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
First thing that came to my mind.
You said both.
Who you said both?
You said both.
But that's what, and I will say, that's what made it ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Because how can you make such a decision? It's giving me, and again, this is my personal opinion. Let me just say that off the board. It's giving me, we have a winner, but we don't want to make somebody else feel bad, so we'll give her the crown too. That's what it looks like and feels.
Yeah, but by the way, I want to see the crowning because you normally have 1 crown, so what did you?
They had 2. Well, remember every year, well, I think for the past couple of years, let's say the current carnival, the 2025 carnival,
It
had a thing.
Yeah.
So there was another crown given
So
to
they
the
took
new
it from
winner.
her.
So they took the crown from the winner last year, so to put it on the other queen. So the two of them have to go out.
Simply see.
No, but that is the
So
thing
then
for me,
Sammy.
like,
there's so much, serious things to talk about.
But
let me say, the long and short of it is idiotic. And it's a demonstration of cowardice as well. You don't have the courage to do the right thing. And the right thing was you need to come out of there with a leader, but you need to do it fairly and transparently. So you ought to have had a system in place to break the tie.
Simple.
Okay?
That's it.
But we see it in football all the time.
Yes.
So game 0-0, extra time 0-0. You have to break the tie. So it's always agreed that you go through penalties because one leader must emerge.
Correct.
That's the nature of these things. So you should have had that in place. And having not had that in place, you should have sat as a bunch of intelligent people and decided, okay, how do we break that tie in a very fair and transparent way? You have the two teams come together. Here's what we're suggesting to break the tie. Because we have a tie for the first time. And we have a tie. But don't you think other pageants before have had ties? But they get ways to break it.
Yeah?
Yeah, they get ways to break it.
And this one
anyway, there are lots of very serious things to speak about. I'm not saying this isn't serious, but the outcome is idiotic. Sometimes you have to tell people as it is. It's idiotic. Come on. Absurd.
Quite disappointing.
Because, okay, you might say, oh, well, we have two regional pageants, but one might be more prestigious than the other. Oh, why are you sending her for this?
I'm not sending this one for that.
At the end of the Calypso competition and some other competitions, she's given the honor to, hand over the prizes. So which one? So you'll have this one come, give 3 prizes. You said, oh God. And all of the other things that go there, because you've created a greater problem because you've shown yourself to be weak. And an inability to take tough decisions. And that's not tough. An inability to be decisive. It's absurd. It's absurd. You must have the courage. You're in a position. You must have the courage. Okay, guys, we have the tie. What do we do? How do we break the tie in a transparent, fair manner? Full stop. Come on, if you're going to solve that problem, what are you going to solve? Let's move on.
And
absurd.
To our listeners, we're saying that we online, our live stream online in regards to the radio online, it's on and off, but we are live on Facebook. So if you are able to go on Facebook or HCS online and Radio 100 LMFM, then you should see. I'm seeing that we're streaming pretty alright on there. Okay. So our listeners.
Because people call me.
Okay. Alright. So yes.
Yeah, and that happens too often. No.
So
we critical of other people. We have to be critical of ourselves as well. It happens so often. You have to. Professionalism demands consistency.
Agree.
No, consistency is there. You do it how you have to. Okay, let's move on.
Alright, so let's head into the headlines, Stanley.
I thought you were there already.
What happened to headlines?
Alright, good.
It's too early in the week, please. Thank you.
I thought you were there, seriously. Alright, but let's go.
Lord. We were technically rude.
Okay.
St. Lucia officially opens the 51st Regional CARICOM Summit.
Yes.
Yeah. And as we just spoke about, historic tie at the St. Lucia Carnival Queen Pageant, in which 2 contestants sharing the crown, and 10-man England advanced to the World Cup quarterfinals after a thrilling win over Mexico. Yes.
Oh yeah, Bellingham was on point. On point, and then Kane delivered as well. And he's largely underrated, but his record, is outstanding. We're talking about the England captain. I'm happy for that victory for England, and a tough game. And you playing the host, in a stadium that's at an altitude that's difficult to play, and they know that, so that gives them the further advantage, and with a stadium packed with supporters, and Mexico had been performing very well throughout this tournament, but England did what they had to do. A phenomenal win for them. Now, talking about World Cup, Brazil is out.
Are they?
Earlier defeated. Brazil defeated, and an underwhelming performance from Brazil from the start of this competition. That's the first Brazilian side I have known throughout, and I've followed football all of my life, that comes to a World Cup tournament with one known, respected, top of the line international star. In Vinny, everybody else is okay, and you have other players that are good players, but Brazil normally comes with about 7 world class players. They may not win the tournament, 7 world class top of the line players. Yeah, that has always been Brazil. You see a number of fellas who say this has raised conflicts and not even showing some basic. Brazil was awful. They were awful. They really were awful. And we understand Norway is a fantastic country to watch, in terms of how this country not only is being governed, but sports, they outperforming bigger nations consistently in hockey, in Winter Olympics. They're doing very well in the Olympics as well. Look, football, they're doing well. They should start playing cricket. Because that country, the way they organize things and structure things, generally the Nordic countries, but and they've shown themselves again. They outplayed Brazil. When I saw the first half, at the end of the first half, these guys had 2/3 of the possession. You never do that against Brazil. Brazil is always the team that dominates possession and dominates effective possession in your half, pushing that ball around, crossing it from the back. Sometimes these guys will cross that ball and moving that ball. So just trying to monitor them, it's difficult because that ball is moving all over the place. Beautiful control, flair. That was Brazil of the past. A bunch of guys who I don't know, and I think the whole Brazilian society needs to take a look at itself. It's too many World Cups. You underperforming terribly. You underperforming. I mean, you're weak fellas, not demonstrating basic. God, I said Brazil, watered down, absolutely watered down.
And so Brazil is out.
They're out.
So with regards to the teams that are to face each other.
Okay, we'll come up with that in a while.
We'll come up with that, okay? No problem.
Yeah.
Some people may want to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. All right.
So we'll say who's in, who's out, who faces who, and for the quarter, semi, and then finals.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, Stanley. Okay, it says here, St. Lucia officially welcomed regional leaders and international delegates on Sunday for the opening ceremony of the 51st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM. The introductory event launched a plan for the summit concentrated on critical Caribbean issues. Prime ministers and diplomats gathered at the Sandals Grand St. Lucia Resort to initiate high-level talks. Key agenda items slated for discussion included climate financing, regional safety, and food security. The ceremony featured keynote speeches from regional executives, including CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett and outgoing Chairman Dr. Terence Drew. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J.P. also addressed the crowd after recently assuming the rotating 6-month chairmanship. Yes. So yes, that happened. It began yesterday, Stanley, and I believe I cannot remember the date. I don't have the date in front of me as to when it ends. But yeah. So that is happening. This is going on right now for the next couple of days.
CARICOM faces at this point in time a lot of challenges because of the whole shifting geopolitical climate, and this is absolutely serious now. A lot of the islands, individual islands, coming under a lot of pressure from international organizations and other, and dare I say, first world countries with, the imposition of visas on, St. Lucia has felt it. And there are other challenges that we face, some very, very serious challenges that we face. CARICOM must demonstrate to the people of the region its relevance to their very existence, So you all have on the topping your agenda, which is probably one of the worst for that, and you see violations of, absolute abuse of the environment, the natural environment. It's not consistent. You're out there wanting to ask for money for this and that, but look at how you treat your very own environment. We have to take seriously those things, that we're not addressing issues like the plastics all over the place. People see not an abundance of sunshine. How are we, we just tepid in our approach to that. That's not the region looking seriously at those things. So you're looking at climate financing. Okay, maybe we'll get 5 million there, 6 million there. Okay, great. I'm happy for that too. But you have to be consistent. It must show that we can impact. It's the bigger countries in terms of impacting the climate. But the little things we can do to take care of our environment. We can't have plastics all over the place. No. And that's the problem that can be solved in an instant. Those companies that sell those drinks, something ought to be put so that there's value to these plastics so people can collect them and return them and get money for it. Any other nonsensical things that good people come up with, it doesn't cut it. We must clean this thing up. Absolutely must. We can allow people 2026 as we speak, blocking swamps. You go to Guatemala, which is happening now as we speak, blocking swamps. And I say, what's going on? I took it to the businessman. I said, what are you doing? Crazy. We've been exceedingly negligent in the way we take care of our environment. Exceedingly. Allowing people to build on the roads and sidewalks, and you want to say you're taking what? What are you taking seriously? I tell you, St. Lucia has 3 people who genuinely care about the environment. You don't have 4. It's true. So you speak out of convenience. You speak because you want a job or you want to position it. Intrinsic love of the environment. No, it might be politically convenient for you to say something or do something. No, but the people don't care. Nobody cares. The other thing I say too, we need to watch our wastewater. We depend heavily on our marine environment. We cannot be just dumping our wastewater. I don't want to talk about that really. We have to do those things. And we have our behaviors must be consistent with what we're saying out there. Nobody cares. I haven't been convinced of people who care about the environment. No one. Like I say, if you want a job, you want a good position, so you start talking the environment. You talk environment. Also high profile. You might get a job, you might get something, you might get some funding. Yeah, they like that funding. But they don't know how to access it properly. But they like it funding to show the natural love that we're cleaning up this place, ensuring these plastics are making their way to the marine environment, clogging our thing. We put pressure to get people to collect the water, and our roads, the natural love. If you care about it, you don't have to tell people, they just see it. They come to St. Lucia, they'll see it. So let's get serious. Anyway, I wish CARICOM the best. I wish the Prime Minister the best for his chairmanship. And I know you will want to get some things accomplished. And I trust he puts his noble energy and creativity into getting things accomplished. I said too, it's a shame that the Caribbean region is one of the few places in the world which is a dead zone effectively for film production. An area that we have a lot of young people that creates opportunities for so many different areas. We're a complete dead zone when it comes to that. There are simple things we can do to get the film industry going throughout the region. Just demand 1% from the cinemas. What does that take? The 1%. So you now create the demand for it. If we're not creative in our ideas and trying to give our problems, we're doomed, you know. Yeah, that's a reality. The international community doesn't really care. So we need to be super creative. We need to be super creative. All right. Enough said.
Okay, Stanley, also in the news internationally, we have here hundreds of masked white nationalists marched through Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July. The demonstrators were identified as members of the neo-fascist group Patriot Front